Hi, this is Joe at Pecan Lane. Today is Tuesday, July 29th, and we've had a lot of lawn problems, and I've been periodically mowing different sections with a suboptimal mower and putting out some water and focusing water on good production trees. Yesterday I thought that I was trying to water for about 6 hours, 1.5 inches of rain, and noticed that my water shut off early. I didn't pay much attention to it until today, and everything's up and running now. So let's just talk about what I noticed. So I came in and I put on a system to run this morning after mowing, and it didn't run. I could see that it was set to run and it said that it was sprinkling, but nothing was happening. And I went out and opened up a valve and made sure that my big pressure tank here, 200-gallon pressure tank, had no water in it. And so I turned off all my breakers and turned them back on, and that did not help. And so I was panicking that my well installed in 2007, so call it 8 years old, was the well pump was bad. So I called a well person who said call me back in a few days, and I called another who turned out they were going to come out and pull the well pump out today, and said that the truck was local. And so I came out and did a bunch of weed eating and pulled off the cover, and I'd had a box around this, and I took the whole box off and to gain access to things here. Now I half expect we've got some black widows down there, and I do see a little bit of a leak. That's interesting. And I figured they were going to have to cut this black plastic off. I was told to put this around things before pouring concrete here to keep it off of stuff. And so now I'll need to pay attention to this. Anyway, so I wanted to give them access. They were going to pull this out. They weren't sure about availability of a 5-horsepower pump, and thought that if it was in stock, maybe it would be delivered later today, otherwise in the morning, and perhaps a special order thing. So, I got all this stuff ready, and I went and got my simple circuit tester. And when I tested that before, I had no power, which had me feel a little bit hopeful that maybe the problem was not my pump, that maybe there was something else happening. Now, I'm a bit limited electrically for figuring things out, but I came back in with this same circuit thing, and so this big pipe here is power in, and I knew I had power there, and this is power over to the control box, and this is power just down to that outlet, and I had power over to my pressure tank, and I had power at that, I'll call it a float control switch. And at the time I didn't have any power up here to any of this stuff, and I didn't have any power to these two wires, which are the actual wires that go down to the pump. Everything else had power other than that, this top row and this bottom section here. Now let's see if I can get a view of this up underneath. There are two red buttons there that are overload switches. And so I had gently pressed on those and nothing really happened. And so I figured maybe that there was something wrong. Like, this looks like a supercapacitor, like in an air conditioning unit to store power. I didn't know if there might be a problem with some of this other stuff in here, but reached back out to the well guy and let him know. Then I was looking at YouTube and looking at Franklin electric control box, and there was a guy who was troubleshooting these, and he first tested for power in for 240 there and 240 there. I'm not great with a circuit tester, but couldn't really figure that out. And he talked about checking resistance. I'm going to turn this off so it doesn't beep. Checking resistance across these leads and resistance across these leads, and if the resistance was high, that you needed to reset things. And he commented for those reset buttons that you had to hit them hard. Well, I came out and tried testing things with my tester here, and really before I got going, I hit that bright red button underneath there really hard, and boom, I heard the water come on. So it filled up the tank, and I've got my water back running. So, you know, this is, I'm really glad this was a simple problem. I called back the fellow, offered to pay him if he screwed up his schedule for me. But you know, the well pump would probably be thousands of dollars, and need to, I mean, thousands of dollars at this point in my year when I haven't harvested any nuts, and I'm kind of giving up on nursery trees. This would just severely impact my profitability and really hurt. And it's discouraging to put so much time and effort into growing pecans and have small little financial things really hurt the bottom line. You know, why do all of this work with things if I'm going to have thousands of dollars in the hole every year? So it was a good solution. I will have to, I could probably just put this box back over top. This is what sort of protected the well, but the wood was rotting at the bottom, and I'll need to evaluate how I handle that. Lots of roaches in there. This is the kind of thing where black widow spiders like to hang out. I do see some potential ant damage. But we're in good shape now, and things are up running. So in a way, I think the moral of the story is growing pecans is expensive. Probably no surprise to anybody engaged in farming, and the more you can do it yourself or repair work, the better your bottom line is. Stay tuned. I've got an idea for another video talking about foliar leaf analysis, particularly how mine came back, and look forward to doing that maybe later today and sharing information with everybody.